first time this season, Montana and Montana State renewing their rivalry on the hardwood in the Big Sky Conference. We got a doubleheader on Scripps.
Band, cheerleaders, just an overall awesome atmosphere for the state of Montana.
Yeah, let's take a look. We saw the starting lineup for Montana State. We're going to have Esmeralda Morales, the graduate transfer. She's leading the Bobcats in scoring. Dylan Phillip, Caitlin Martin, Lexi Deaton, and Mara Dykstra on the court as we get set for the opening tip here in the 119th edition of the Brawl of the Wild, and it's controlled by the University of Montana Lady Grizz, and that's Matt Koenig, the leading scorer, controlling the action in the early going. Feeds it to Danny Bart. She's looking inside, no good. Finds MJ Bruno, one of the only two. Bruno and Bart's the only two have started every game for the Grizz this year, off the mark, and we're heading the other way. Caitlin Martin to Morales.
Montana has their hands full with all the offensive weapons for this Montana State team. Lexi Deaton coming back mid-season after suffering a season-ending knee injury last year. She's been inserted into the starting lineup. She broke her nose recently too, so she's got that face mask to maneuver through.
There's Mara Dykstra to Morales on the wing, surveying the court. Gets it to Dylan Phillip. Morales to Martin as well. And what a defensive possession for the Lady Grizz to open this one.
It's loud in here, Tom, and you can see the Montana State bench just kind of going crazy over there. Hey, we got to communicate because you're not going to be able to hear each other on the court. Just a miscommunication. Yeah, it's certainly a different environment than either of these teams are used to. Cat Grizz just brings out something special in both programs. Matt Koenig checked by Dylan Phillip. Taking her time. The top of the key, gives it to Barch. Barch looking down low, no one there. Bruno inside to Avery Waddington. Barch with the board, which she's good at. Runs into traffic. Second chance opportunities for Montana. Just a really nice read by Danny Barch. Montana really looking to isolate that post and get it inside. Danny Barch climbing up the rebounding record boards for the University of Montana program. We're still scoreless. Just over a minute gone in the first quarter. Danny has been dominant on the glass. The last 3 games, she's had 10 rebounds, 8 and 9. She's definitely key. Rebounding will come into play. Yeah, a bit of a return to form for her. She averaged over 10 last year. Hadn't quite put up those numbers recently, but she is one of the better rebounders in Lady Grizz history. And boy, everyone's just starting cold so far in this ball game. I also think, Tom, just some nerves of settling in. It takes a few minutes. This is just a different atmosphere, as we've said. Esmeralda Morales with the lefty layup, no good. And we have a tie-up down low between Dykstra and Abby Schubert. You're going to see this pressure for Montana State. Addison Harris coming in for Lexi Deaton. This has been an early substitution, trying to manage minutes for Deaton. Addison Harris, another true freshman from Camas, Washington. She's getting quite a bit of playing time this season. Another spark off the bench and just depth for this Montana State team. Dylan Phillip pulls it down, goes up with it off the glass and in, and the first points of the ball game go to the Montana State Bobcats. Dylan Phillip has been in double figures 3 out of the last 4 of their games. She's been an offensive spark. Lady Grizz slow it down. Matt Koenig running the offense. A little miscommunication there. Looked like it might have been going to Barch, but nonetheless, Waddington gets it. Kicks it out to Bruno. Back to Waddington. And her shot goes front iron and off the Lady Grizz. It's Montana State basketball. Taylor Cherrick into the lineup early for Montana State. Just a tremendous game she had against Eastern Washington. A program record of 11 steals. It's what the Bobcats do best, is apply pressure and turn the ball over. They are averaging about 24 turnovers per game, forcing as many.
and leading the Big Sky in steals by a long shot. And as you said, Taylor Chirick is one of the good ones. MJ Bruno gets a bucket, and we're tied at 2 here in the first quarter.
Montana State is actually 3rd in the nation, averaging 14.2 steals right now. The Cats also have caused 20 or more turnovers in 11 outings this year.
I believe in their last game they forced 32 turnovers on Monday against Eastern Washington. That is unheard of. Their turnover margin is absurdly good. Koenig driving. Thinks better of it. Gets it back to Danny Barch. Back to Koenig. She's double teamed in the corner. Tries to get it away, but that's going to be off the backboard, out of bounds. Montana State basketball.
We'll see that signature trap. We're going to see that a lot with Montana State. Real sneaky defense. You have to pass around the defender. If you're going to get through that, you got to be on balance and under control. You know, Coach Harris has talked about keeping it simple. Find the mismatch, keep it simple.
Morales to Ella Johnson, a defensive dynamo in this game. Natalie Picton, your starting point guard last year. She's been coming off a bench and having a great impact. Morales driving into the lane. Wild shot goes up, and that one is no good. Hits no part of the rim, and we're heading the other way. This is Macy Donarski in at point guard now. Donarski missed all of last year with an injury. Playing well this year.
Montana State, just active hands, really playing the gaps. That's what they do well on the defensive end. They don't want to make any pass easy for the Lady Grizz.
Chira guarding the inbounds pass from Bruno. Back to Donarski. The redshirt freshman from La Crosse, Wisconsin, working against Natalie Picton. Shot clock winding down, 3 on it. They got to take a shot. Danny Barch for 3, and she drills it. Danny Barch with range in the early going.
What a great find by Macy Donarski. Shot clock ticking down.
Turnover from Morales. Grizz pushing it the other way. Donarski to Bruno, and the finish is good. That's exactly what the Lady Grizz wanted for the start of this ballgame.
Montana State has come out in a little bit of a lull in the first quarter the last couple games. That's been a point of concern for Coach Binford, trying to find some offense here.
Active hands for the University of Montana in this first quarter. They get it to Chirick. Morales with a 3. The defense all over her. That's the kind of shot that only she can make.
That's that poise and that leadership. Being able to silence the crowd. No one does it better than Esmeralda Morales.
Averaging just over 14 points per game coming into this one. The leading scorer on this league-leading Montana State Bobcat basketball team. As Donarski drives into the lane, and that's going to be called a charge. Heading the other way. Welcome back to Dahlberg Arena, where the Montana Lady Grizzlies currently hold a 7-5 lead over the Bobcats in the first quarter here. Now, Krista, let's talk about your keys to the game. What is it going to take for Montana State to win this one?
Well, defensive intensity has won them games all year. They've been able to weather offensive lulls. If you're Coach Binford, you want to control possessions. You give yourself more opportunity on the offensive end with solid defensive stops. For U of M, you've got to watch the turnovers. 8th in the nation, Montana State is in turnover margin. They've caused 32 turnovers by Eastern, 32 by Weber, 29 by Idaho State. It's just a really big part of this game. And again, offensive execution, you've got to make shots.
Dylan Phillip with a 3-pointer from Montana State. That gives the Bobcats an 8-7 lead with 3:48 to play in the first quarter here. Lady Grizz going back to work. Matt Koenig once again against Natalie Picton. Gets the screen from Isabella Zingaro, the Iowa State transfer. She's looking for the ball down low. Matt Koenig being very patient with the ball. Swings it over. And we got a 3-point basket from Tyler McClymondt Call coming off the bench.
Just a great read, though, by Matt Koenig. Shot clock ticking down. She knows where her shooters are. Montana keeps the floor spread. It's exactly what you want on the offensive end for the Lady Grizz.
Back and forth in this ball game, 10-8 Lady Grizz. Taylor Chirick works it inside to Ella Johnson. Back to Chirick, one of the better athletes in the entire state. Up and in. No good on that, but she's fouled. And Taylor Chirick, the Roberts Rocket, will head to the free throw line.
Her 11 steals in the last game also matched the Big Sky single season record last set in 2016. She ranks 9th in the country with 57 steals, which is also the best mark by a freshman at the D1 level.
Yeah, a true freshman from a Class C school in the state of Montana. Anyone who watched her play for Roberts knew she was a special athlete. Averaged 31 points at Roberts as a senior. Also set several records at the Class C state cross-country meet last spring. Now she's doing big things for Montana State here in her first season in the blue and gold.
And records with the 400 and 800 too. I mean, I think she's probably the best athlete in the state of Montana.
I think without a doubt. And Trish Binford just sends her out there off the bench and just says go. And that's what she does. She plays fast, plays hard, and Taylor Chirick is one to watch over her career here. Out of bounds to Montana. Adria Lincoln into the ball game. She'll handle inbounds duties. Gets it to McClymonde call. Back to Lincoln. Matt Koenig gets to the top of the key. Initiates the offense again. Driving into the lane. Lefty finish, no good. Elzabella Zingaro with the offensive board. Another second chance opportunity for the Lady Grizz.
Just a great rebound anticipation. Those offensive rebounds are like gold, giving extra possessions. Again, Montana really trying to work the perimeter. They're looking for that 4-out, 1-in to try to create those mismatches to get the ball in to Zingaro. Just a great rebound.
Yeah, Zingaro, the Iowa State transfer, 6'4". Montana Grizzlies, Lady Grizz put it in. They're up 12-10 yet again.
You just can't say enough about Avery Waddington. I mean, last year she was in high school, a McDonald's All-American Game nominee.
Huge get for the Lady Grizz. She had 19 Division I scholarships as Matt Koenig gets the steal to McClymonde call. Back to Koenig. And the Montana Lady Grizz working in transition right now. They're up 14-10 in the first quarter. Matt Koenig missed a game a few days ago, but she's back in the starting lineup and running the offense with patience and precision at this point. She's checked by Caitlin Martin. Dexie Deeden comes out on her.
Matt Koenig had a heck of a Big Sky Conference tournament last year. She made the tournament. She was Freshman of the Year 2 years ago.
Zingaro down low. That's going to be blocked by Mara Dykstra. Phillip to Martin. Back to Morales, and she's not going to hesitate. Esmeralda Morales knocks in the three from the top of the arc, cuts the lead to 1.
If you're Coach Harris, you've just really got to watch leaving Esmeralda Morales open. She's just got a deadly shot, and they really look for her.
Two-time Big Sky Player of the Week so far in this season. Potentially going to add a few more. She lights it up sometimes. She is a hot shooter, and that's just an unforced error on the Lady Grizz.
Transfer from Portland State within the conference. She was really lighting it for Portland State. She still is for the Bobcats, but they are more balanced, Tom. So they're getting about 14 points a game from her. But they have multiple weapons. And so what's really been great about Esme is to watch her make her teammates better as well. All around her, it feels like the play has stepped up.
Yeah, part of the coaching acumen of Trisha Binford, too, to add a ball-dominant player like Morales and make her fit into a team that's now leading the Big Sky Conference. Morales gets the screen from Dykstra, the two-person game. Off the back iron on her shot attempt. Matt Koenig the other way, but Montana State working the trap in the half court. She's got to get that ball, and she finds Danny Barch swinging it over to the corner, and that's Adria Lincoln off on her three-point shot, but another second chance opportunity. Danny Barch just coming alive these last few games on the boards.
Really nice passing by Montana. Montana State likes to get their hands on about everything, and you really have to pass and catch if you're this Lady Grizz team.
Adria Lincoln stop and pop. Shot clock winding down, hits the front iron, but they are going to call it. Welcome back to Dahlberg Arena. The Montana Lady Grizz leading 14-13 after 1.
This has been a pretty evenly matched game and a lot of fun so far. Making shots, 2 turnovers on each side of the ball, but both teams just doing a good job playing hard-nosed basketball.
Yeah, clearly some nerves in the early part of this contest. Shots were going a little long or a little short, but both teams seem to have settled into a rhythm right now as Matt Koenig into the lane, back to Danny Barch, cross court. That's Abby Schubert off the mark on her shot. Morales heading the other way, sets the stage for the Bobcat offense. Hand off to Taylor Chirick. Back out to Taylor Jansen, who's returned to the lineup after starting the season injured as well. Screen for Morales. Her shot from mid-range off, but second chance opportunity for Jansen. Taylor Chirick just using that strength to get inside and finish with the left hand.
She's so strong. You always say that sometimes freshmen don't know what they know. She kind of just goes out there and plays relentless on both ends of the court.
Yeah, this is her first game without, well, there's Abby Schubert.
Abby Schubert has been lights out for Montana. 8 points against Idaho, but in double figures against Idaho State and UNC. Inserted into the starting lineup in the last 4 games, she's given them a nice offensive spark.
Quick response the other way from Montana State. We're all knotted up at 17 apiece with 8.5 remaining here in the second quarter. Danny Barch inside. Outside. Schubert to Waddington. Barch all by herself kicks it out to Lincoln. Adria Lincoln knocks it down.
I almost felt like Danny should have gone up with it, but she just felt like Adria was in the corner, and that's a lot of trust for your teammates. You have a 2-foot shot, and she's going to go to Adria Lincoln. Big 3 in the corner.
Yeah, nice shot for the sophomore. Lincoln working against Chirick. Inside to Taylor Jansen in the post. Lefty finish is good as well. Welcome back, Taylor Jansen. She missed most of the first part of the season, returned around the same time that Lexi Deedon is, and that certainly just adds to the depth of this Montana State team.
Well, and you have a Taylor Jansen, you have a Caitlin Martin. They've been staples for Montana State. They bring a level of poise and leadership to this team, and so you like to see them get back out on the court as fifth-year seniors. You know, she's only been back for 9 games, just giving about 9 minutes of time, but you'll see that start to increase. Big basket by her.
All right, Montana leading Montana State 20-19. We'll be right back with more action from Dahlberg Arena here on Scripps Sports. Welcome back to Dahlberg Arena, where the Montana Lady Grizz are leading Montana State 20-19. And for a certain member of the Montana State squad, anytime there's a Cat Grizz game back here in Dahlberg, it's a homecoming. For more on that, here's Kyle Hansen.
Yeah, Tom, it's good to see Lexi Deedon back out on the court. Obviously been such a huge part of the Montana State program the last few years. Of course, last year played in 6 games, was dominating early to start the season until suffering a season-ending injury. I think she was Big Sky Conference Player of the Week to end that season. But, of course, she's back. She made her debut this season coming off that injury against Presbyterian back in mid-December. And then the last 5 games, last 6 games, including today, been back in that starting lineup. So good to see the former Sentinel Spartan kind of back making another big impact. She's had a lot of big games in here, both in high school and in college.
Lexi was having a Big Sky MVP caliber type of year last year when she unfortunately went down. Just a huge part of this Montana State team. Her parents hosted the Bobcat team last night for dinner, which is really neat to have them in Missoula and able to do that. Lexi graduated at Christmas and is pursuing her master's degree right now in education.
Yeah, quite the pedigree for Deedon as well. Her mother played for the Montana Lady Grizz. Her aunt was a longtime coach at Missoula Sentinel, All-American, Hall of Famer at the University of Washington as well. All right, back to the action here. Natalie Picton inside Tamara Dykstra. Too easy.
Just a fantastic read by Picton. She just senses Mara Dykstra strong to the hoop. I have been so impressed with Picton coming off the bench this year. Definitely a different role. She started every game for Montana State last year, but with the transfer of Esmeralda Morales, she's taken more of a secondary role, but I don't want to downplay that because she has certainly been an offensive spark. She delivers the ball fantastic.
And Natalie Picton spark off the bench, back to the action. Danny Barch to Macy Donarski back in at point. Bart's calling for the ball. Gets it at the high post.
A little bit of miscommunication there with Danny Barch in the high post and Zingaro and McClimate McCall underneath. Montana likes to work that perimeter and create a mismatch underneath, just too many bodies.
Dykstra hands it off to Picton, checked by Donarski. Morales back to Dykstra. Stops and pops easy from the elbow.
She's got such a nice mid-range jumper, and if you don't get a hand in her face, she will sense that. She can also put the ball on the floor.
Second team All Big Sky performer last year, one-time Big Sky Player of the Week this year is Mara Dykstra. It's Montana State basketball again after a turnover.
Mara has had 15 games where she's been in double figures. She had 8 straight games in a huge stretch in December through January where she had double figures. She had a big game against Oral Roberts, which is the second loss for this Montana State team. They lost in overtime.
Yeah, just 2 losses for Montana State, once to Utah, once to Oral Roberts. As Dykstra goes back to work, the Vancouver, British Columbia native kicks it out to Addison Harris. Back to KJ Martin. And we got a foul on the floor. This one goes against MJ Bruno.
Well, we're talking a lot about the Montana State record. We do have to talk about Montana's huge win over Washington back in November. Their first win over a power conference in a decade. Huge win here at Dahlberg Arena for this Lady Grizz team.
Taylor Chiric driving into the lane, muscles her way in, but that's going to be knocked away. Great defense by McClimate Call. Tyler McClimate Call, the transfer from Portland State, most recently at Stephen F. Austin, graduated with a degree in sports business, now pursuing entertainment management. Montana State back on the board. They build a 3-point lead, 25-22.
Well, I love that she's also a twin. She's got a twin sister, Jackson. So we got 2 sets of twins, because both the Barch sisters and McClimate McCall.
I think it helps make you tough, honestly. Because the job don't come much tougher than Danny Barch as she and Zingaro hit the deck together. That's a turnover, though, for Montana State basketball. 25-22, 5 minutes, 23 seconds remain here in the first quarter, and what's been a great contest so far, Krista.
It's been fun. It's evenly matched. It's been great for the fans. Both of these teams at times have had their struggles with first quarters, and so second quarter we've just seen 2 evenly matched teams.
No good inside for Montana State. Macy Donarski working against KJ Martin. Barch to Zingaro, and she finishes lefty.
Just a fantastic read by Danny Barch. I'd love to see that 2-foot position down low. Zingaro just owning that low block. Just an easy 2-foot basket.
The 2 post players playing well for Montana early. Addison Harris gets that rebound between 3 Lady Grizz players. But it's a jump ball. Stays with the Lady Grizz. Or heading the other way, rather. Nope, okay. Scratch that. Back to the Montana State Bobcats. Possession arrow remains with them. Okay. Esmeralda Morales. To Martin. Back to Morales. Inside to Dykstra. Checked by Bruno. Martin fires away, knocks it down.
Just a beautiful shot by Caitlin Martin. I got to get used to it because I'm still saying Lamardo, but she got married to Noah Martin, who's a 2-time Big Sky Conference champion in the high jump. And we got a 3-point shootout going back and forth here. McClimate McCall, just a great look.
Tyler McClimate Call averages 38.3% from beyond the arc. Both teams can get hot, and you've seen that play out here in the second quarter. Ella Johnson with the shot, no good. Dykstra with the rebound, goes up against Zingaro. That's going to be a block for the Iowa State transfer. A 1-point ball game. Montana State with the lead. We got that trap. You've seen it several times. Ella Johnson and Caitlin Martin.
Montana State relentless on the defensive end. And again, that has been able to carry them through games. When they have offensive lulls, they get after it. And that is something that Coach Binford will not allow anything different from her team just coming out and playing hard on the defensive end. That trap is difficult with long arms.
Yeah, depth and intensity. 13 players. A lot of them would be starting on other Big Sky Conference teams, as you see MJ Bruno pull up from the corner. No good, but another second chance opportunity. McClymond call. Pull up. Off the back iron, Ella Johnson with the rebound. Pushes it ahead to Morales. Gets it to Dylan Phillip. She'll pull up, and she'll knock down the triple as well.
Dylan Phillip catching Montana on their heels. Just a really nice entry-level shot. Dylan Phillip just is looking really good. You know, she sat last year with an ankle injury, but she's had some fantastic games, double figures for this Montana State team. She's just been one of their many weapons.
Zingaro the other way. That'll be 4 points for the Iowa State transfer. Montana State working on offense. There's Jansen pulling up from the baseline, no good. Foul on the floor, stays with Montana State.
Ella Johnson has been extremely crafty at getting in and finding the ball. You know, the sophomore out of Elk River, Minnesota, she was pulled off of redshirt last year just due to injuries for Montana State. She gave them about 16 minutes a game, but this year she's about at 22, 23 minutes. She started the first part of the season just giving Montana State just another added bit of length on the perimeter.
Taylor Chirick inside. That makes it 33-29 Montana State. The Roberts Rocket getting it done. Redshirt, or the true freshman rather. Now she's working against Matt Koenig, who's back into the lineup.
She's playing without her goggles. She's had to play with those the last couple games due to getting hit in the eye.
And what a feed inside to Avery Waddington to cut the lead to 2.
Avery Waddington just has just awesome feel around the basket. Just really crafty.
6'3", true freshman from Coeur d'Alene. You see Danny Barch getting the steal, and boy, she is a defensive dynamo. Whether it's blocking shots, getting her hands in the passing lanes, she's meant a lot to this Lady Grizz program. Koenig working against Picton, gets it to Barch, but they're going to call a foul on Taylor Jansen.
Danny Barch, twin sister Paige, had a fantastic career at Boise State for volleyball. Her mom, the former Ann Tarleton, played volleyball for the Grizz, and in 1990 made the first trip to the NCAA tournament for Montana Grizz volleyball. Her dad, Kevin, was a linebacker in the 80s, played in the first football game of Washington Grizzly.
Quite the Grizzly pedigree for Barch.
Just a great Helena Strong family.
MJ Bruno against Chirick. That one just trickles off the rim. Nice take, though. Morales back the other way, slowing things down. To Picton. Drives against Koenig, throws up the wild lefty shot, and they're going to call a foul on Matt Koenig.
Ooh,
Crowd not happy.
Lady Grizz fans don't like that. If you're Montana, you got to let that go. You don't want to bail her out. That was kind of a wild take to the basket.
Certainly didn't seem to be in control there, but yeah, Natalie Picton, she played in all 33 games for Montana State last year. She's coming off the bench in every game this year. As we talked about, her role has certainly changed, but she's embraced it with the addition of Esmeralda Morales to this Montana State roster.
We got our Canadian connection between Natalie Picton and Matt Koenig. They played just about 60 minutes apart from each other in high school. 2
Ontario, Canada girls finding their way onto rosters here at the Treasure State.
Well, and also Mara Dykstra from Vancouver, British Columbia. So we do have the Canada connection on these teams.
All right, MJ Bruno working against that press, and it's a turnover.
Taylor Jarek, Esmeralda Morales, just solid D. You have to pass around defenders, and this is where Montana State sneaks in, and you feel the impact of that defensive pressure. More possessions for Montana State.
6 members of Montana State in the top 15 of steals in the Big Sky Conference, so they do know how to force turnovers. Morales off on the shot. She thought there was a little contact.
Yeah, Tom,
Ball goes out of bounds.
To your point, it's really rare to maybe have 1 or 2 in the top 15, but you got Taylor Sherrick at number 2, Ella Johnson at number 4, with just about 2 steals per game. Esmeralda Morales, 1.83. Dylan Phillip, 1.7 steals. Caitlin Martin, 1.56. I mean, this team just gets after it, and collectively, they get their hands on so many passes.
They have a 9.21 turnover margin, which means for every turnover they do, they force 9.2 turnovers from the other team, which is just absurd for any college team. That is far and away the most in the Big Sky Conference and ranks up there nationally as well. Morales back to Dykstra. Rims in and out. Rebound goes to Danny Barch with 34 seconds left. A foul on the floor, and we're heading the other way. Montana State leading 34-31 with just over 30 seconds here in the second quarter. And this first half has been everything you could have asked for both these teams.
Montana State just pulling ahead a little bit, but not much. Montana just hanging in there, getting some really good, solid basketball from many people on the team.
Go back to the trap. They break it. MJ Bruno from the wing. Matt Koenig working against the true freshman. Koenig gets past the first level, runs into traffic, kicks it out, finds Avery Waddington, working in the post, no good, kicks it out to Abby Schubert. There's Matt Koenig, gotta shoot it, off the front iron, no good. And that will bring us to the end of the first half, with Montana State on top of the Montana Lady Grizz, 34-31 after 2 quarters complete.
8 players that scored, and I thought that was a really good indicator of getting a lot of involvement from multiple weapons on the offensive end.
Welcome back to Dahlberg Arena, where Montana State leads the Montana Lady Grizz 34-31. Kyle Hansen talked to Nate Harris coming off the court about what has to happen in the second half. Kyle?
Nate obviously was very complimentary of MSU's offensive rebounding, turned that into 9 second chance points in that first half for the Bobcats. He liked what his team was doing on offense, thought they did a nice job of breaking Montana State's press. Obviously the Cats were able to get some turnovers out of that, but he liked what they were doing. He said Montana State defensively did a nice job of getting them out of their system, but overall was pretty pleased, just wants to see him clean up a couple of things here in the second half. Tom?
Hey, thanks, Kyle. Yeah, Nate Harris taking over for Brian Holsinger. As we said, he's the acting head coach. A lot of Montana connections. Born in Sydney, raised in Ronan, played at Montana Tech, and now he's leading this Lady Grizz program. Shot off the mark from Waddington. Now, what are you hoping to see the start of this second half here, Krista?
Well, I expect this Montana State team to come out and really be aggressive. You saw early a nice look from Lexi Deaton. She's not able to finish. But that's exactly what you want if you're Coach Binford, is to get Esmeralda Morales more active in the offense. She took 8 shots in the first half, but only 6 points. They need to see her more active on the perimeter.
Yeah, both her shots were from beyond the arc, and here comes Esmeralda Morales. Slicing into the lane.
She's so crafty at getting to the rim, and she didn't shoot any free throws in the first half either.
Dangerous from anywhere on the court. Back inside to Caitlin Martin. Spins into the lane, off on the shot, falls short. Montana heading the other way with Matt Koenig.
Just so impressed with how Montana really spread the ball in the first half. Again, such a beautiful shot there by Danny Barch. But 8 Lady Grizz score in that first half, just very spread. It's a good sign for Montana when you have that many players scoring.
That's Barch's second three-point shot of the game. She hit 100 earlier in the season, climbing up the all-time ranks in this Lady Grizz program as Deaton gets in the lane but cannot convert. She's fouled and will head to the line.
Really nice job by Montana State just with the isolation of Lexi Deaton down low. They like to run 4 perimeter players. They've got Mara Dykstra and Lexi Deaton that play the high-low post, but they look for those mismatches and isolation down low to try to get the ball inside. Lexi Deaton with the nice post position down low.
Shooting 92% from the field so far in her short time playing this season after coming back from the injury, but just a solid veteran.
And you'll see Montana State with this 1-2-2 trap. They want to take some time off the clock and make it difficult for Montana.
All alone is Danny Barch inside, and she'll get the finish.
And you couldn't break that press better. Matt Koenig, excellent decision making, breaking Montana State down.
You can tell the Lady Grizz have drilled that this week, knowing the amount of pressure they were going to feel from Montana State. Morales off the screen from Dykstra, timeout. Trisha Binford. And let's talk about Trisha Binford on the sidelines there. Obviously, the all-time winningest coach in Montana State men's or women's history, but not possible to do what she's done without a pretty supportive family.
Well, her husband Todd is just the team parent this year for their daughter Brooklyn's Big Sky Volleyball Club 16-1 USAV. Huge shout out to Todd. Brooklyn's at home in Bozeman. Justin's here. It's a family effort.
Very high-achieving family. Kick it out. Danny Barch again from distance. That's her first miss from beyond the arc this game.
MJ Bruno. She's going to pick up her 3rd foul. She was trying to bat that ball out to one of her guards.
MJ Brunar with 4 from this one, but 3 fouls. She'll have to hit the bench for a little bit. Abby Schubert checks back in. So does Macy Donarski. All right, Caitlin Martin to Dykstra. Taylor Chirick back to Martin. Taylor Chirick goes inside to Dykstra.
Solid man-to-man defense for Montana, but you can't lose a shooter like Caitlin Martin. You have to fight through those screens if you're Montana.
Caitlin Martin 2 for 2 in this ball game from big distance. She has 6 points and just balanced scoring for Montana State so far. 8 for Morales, 6 for Dykstra, 8 for Chirick, 6 for Martin, and of course 8 for Dylan Phillip as well.
Really active hands in Martin, Chirick, and Morales right here, trying to create havoc for the Lady Grizz.
5-point lead for Montana State with 6:25 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And we've said it, but yes, this is where Montana State's pressure will start to wear on you when they're constantly up in your face at all levels of the court. And they get it inside to Zingaro, but she'll be fouled. That one goes against Addison Harris.
I'm impressed with Zingaro's ability to hold that seal. You can see it right here against Harris. She does a good job bodying up, and Danny Barch just puts it on the money.
That 2-woman game been working well for Barch and Zingaro. Taylor Chirick, the fastest player on the court, taking it. Back to Morales. She'll slow things down. Esme Morales to Addison Harris. Off the mark.
Great grab by Danny Barch.
She has 12 rebounds at this stage of the game.
Such an athletic take to the basket, showing her added length. Exactly what you want to see out of a senior at home, but Montana State answers.
Martin with another 3-point shot, and it pushes the lead to 6. Foul on Addison Harris.
This Montana State team, because of their depth, as you're going to see a lot of substitutions here, Picton, Johnson, Jansen coming into the game, they can give up some of those fouls, Tom. They have a lot to give, and Coach Binford, she'll use them.
Yeah, as we said, they play about 13 players, and all of them capable of starting for several other teams in the Big Sky Conference. And they've all bought into Coach Binford's defensive system. McClymonds Call across to Abby Schubert. Pulls up from 3. Bounces over the rim, but McClymonds Call gets a rebound. Macy Donarski pulls it down. Pulls up on the shot, but she'll be fouled by Taylor Jansen. Tyler McClymonds Call will head to the free throw line for the Lady Grizz. Now, very experienced is Tyler McClymonds Call in her first year with Montana. Of course, transferred from Stephen F. Austin. She played in the NCAA tournament and the WNIT tournament with the Lady Jacks. Averaged just under 8 points per game last year. It's her starting 67 games for Stephen F. Austin, but averaging just under 8 here in her time with the Lady Grizz, off on the first free throw.
Well, she made 101 threes over her junior and senior season as well. She's given Montana really good minutes, almost 19 a game. They're really looking to her for offense.
Very experienced piece for Coach Harris and the Lady Grizz. Phillip to Chiric. Back to Natalie Picton.
Seeing some zone
Working it
defense.
inside, a little zone defense.
By the Lady
Jansen
Grizz.
Gets the loose ball. They got their hands on it, but she corrals it and puts it in. And it pushes the lead to 7 for Montana State. Fast hands from Taylor. Welcome back to Dahlberg Arena. Montana State leading 46-39 with 4 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. And Montana State 7-0 in Big Sky Conference play, 17-2 overall. Their offense is still developing, but it's the defense where they've really made their bacon. And Krista, the numbers really bear it out.
Well, they've been able to really weather offensive lulls by their strong defensive presence. They find that energy on the defensive end. Just really good third quarters. The last 4 or 5 games, they have come out and dominated in third quarter. 23-9 against Eastern Washington. This is when they really pick up the pace. Again, their depth allows them to keep fresh legs and just continue to relentlessly get after it on the defensive end.
Top 10 in the NCAA in both steals and turnover margin, and you can see that bearing out as we watch right now. Off the steal, off the turnover, and there's Dylan Phillip with her three-point shot, and that puts her into double figures in this ball game.
You know, this Montana State team for the 5th consecutive week is ranked in the collegeinsider.com mid-major top 25 coaches poll. This week, the Bobcats moved up to 1 spot, number 13. So they have been making their presence known even across the nation in the polls.
The lead is pushed to double digits. It's 49-39. And like you've said, these third quarters have been the difference in Montana State's 10-game win streak coming into Missoula. And Taylor Chiric on Matt Koenig. She's the lead instigator. Leads the conference, or second in the conference in steals, rather, but coming off that career-high program record 11 steal performance against Eastern Washington. She's on offense now, working in the lane. No good on the right-handed finish. And Matt Koenig coming back the other way. Matt Koenig, one of the tops in the Big Sky in assists as well. She's really coming to her own as a distributor this season.
If you're Montana, you're in a little bit of a stretch here where you're not making shots. You've got to pick up that defensive pressure. If you're Montana, you want to stick to setting good screens, look to drive to the paint, find the open shooters, but you want to play your style of basketball, one shot and up, and it's not falling for Montana right now.
Yeah, going back to your keys of the game from earlier. Dykstra to Morales. Hit the 2-minute mark of the third quarter here. Foul on the floor.
Montana State will spread you out. They will do a good job of passing around the perimeter. They want to use up some of that shot clock. They don't have the urgency right now to put a shot up. So Coach Binford wants them to make good decisions. Esmeralda Morales, her first time to the free throw line in this game.
An 83% free throw shooter. Led the Big Sky Conference in scoring a year ago at Portland State, and it's sure translated over to another venue.
Had a chance to visit with her at shoot-around today. This has been such a great fit for her. She felt immediately welcomed by Bozeman and Montana State.
And such a veteran president. Coach Binford says she just brings calmness to this Montana State team. And it's helpful when you have several true freshmen getting big minutes. Nice feed inside to Avery Waddington.
Nice read, but Avery Waddington going to the basket. She's just so comfortable around the rim.
Dykstra looking inside. Phillip flashed in. Dykstra putting her back to the basket.
Wow, that's great defense by Danny Barch. No foul. She gets the rebound. Again, Montana State looking for that isolation.
Danny Barch having a stat-stuffing game. 13 rebounds total, 10 points as well. She's already got a double-double, plus 4 assists.
And that's exactly what you would expect out of her being her last rivalry game in Dahlberg Arena. We talked about her being the impact player that she is. She's so versatile. She's a huge part of the Lady Grizz winning today.
51-41 Montana State. Morales drives against Waddington, and they call the foul on the floor before the shot, but they're in the bonus.
Waddington just kind of a step behind Esmeralda Morales. And you'll watch Montana State doing a really good job of opening that lane for Esme, just allowing her to have that path to the rim. She's a prolific free throw shooter. She makes good decisions of when to take it to the basket, when to pull out. That's a huge part of the offensive success that this Bobcat team has had.
Morales into double figures. Hits her 11th and 12th points of the contest to go along with 5 rebounds and 4 assists as well. And, you know, her field goal percentage is not the highest, but she takes shots, and it's just a volume of the shots she takes is able to lift these Bobcats to heights they didn't have last year. Another turnover.
Again, right there, just rushed passing. Montana able to recover, but that's exactly what they want to do. They want to create that urgency where you're feeling as if you have to play so fast, and that's when the turnovers occur.
14 turnovers so far for the University of Montana compared to just 5 for Montana State. Schubert from 3, knocks it down from the wing.
I think Montana State wanted to travel on that, but MJ Bruno finding Schubert, and this is the exact offense that Montana needs. You can feel the crowd coming alive.
Yeah, lots of energy here in the arena. Martin. The closeout, they call a foul on Danny Barch.
Just collision right there. Anticipation.
That's the second personal for Barch, the Helena Capital product. Inbound goes to Dykstra. She's got to get it off, and she does, but it's no good, and that's where we will end the third quarter. Welcome back to Dahlberg Arena. We are set for the final 10 minutes of this first Brawl of the Wild rivalry contest between Montana State and the University of Montana. 53-44, Bobcats with the lead. They have 2 players in double figures, Esmeralda Morales and Dylan Phillips with 12 points and 11 points apiece, but it's Lady Grizz ball to start the fourth quarter. Countering for Montana, Danny Barch with 10 points, 14 rebounds. She's been all over in this contest, not to mention 5 assists as well. Matt Koenig fires away from the top of the arc. No good. Montana State corrals the rebound, heading the other way. Taylor Chirick from distance. Front iron, no good. Matt Koenig hauls in the rebound. She's going to be fouled on the sideline. And that's how we'll start this fourth quarter. What do you expect to see in this final 10 minutes?
Well, I expect some intense basketball, Tom, on both ends. Esmeralda Morales really had a nice third quarter. I expect her to really step up. Dylan Phillip has had some nice offense for this Montana State team. For the Lady Grizz, it's been fairly spread. Danny Barch, 10 points and 14 rebounds for this Lady Grizz team.
Avery Waddington coast to coast. No resistance from the Montana State defense there, and that will cut the lead to 7 points with 9 minutes remaining in the fourth. Morales checked by Bruno.
You know, Montana State with only 5 turnovers thus far in the game as compared to the Lady Grizz and their 13. That's going to come into play, and right now the Lady Grizz hold the advantage on the rebounding end, and that's been an Achilles heel for Montana State. They have not won the rebounding margin, and that could come into play down the stretch.
Yeah, Montana playing a pretty clean game as Dykstra hits from the top of the arc. Again, 13 turnovers seems like a lot, but when Montana State averages 24 forced turnovers per game, they're holding their own against this top-ranked defense. As Waddington drops in another three-point shot. Big moments here from the true freshman from Coeur d'Alene.
Big 5 points for Avery Waddington. Montana State wanting to take a timeout here. Avery Waddington, really great offense.
All right, we're going to take another quick timeout here at Dahlberg Arena. They've cut the lead to 56-49. We'll be right back with more from this Brawl the Wild game. Back at Dahlberg Arena, where the University of Montana has cut into Montana State's lead thanks to 5 quick points from Avery Waddington. Make that 7 quick points from
Just
Avery Waddington.
Huge defensive play by Tyler. McClimate Call finds Waddington. The energy has shifted inside Dahlberg Arena. We know, Tom, that basketball is a game of momentum shifts.
Foul on the ground. Dykstra going up for a shot, but Waddington picks up the foul. The true freshman up to 13 points in this contest in her first ever
Just
Cat
really
Grizz game.
impressive. 7 straight points.
All right, we're going to take
out
a
of
look.
the quarter.
Yeah.
We're going to see her with the easy basket there, but then spot up 3, just showing her range.
Yeah, and then McClimate Call with that defensive play gets it to Waddington, and that would cut the lead to 5, but it's back to 6 now. Dykstra hits both of her free throws. Just the veteran leadership that she provides for this team cannot be overstated. The junior from Vancouver, British Columbia, leading her team in scoring, well, actually behind Morales, rather, but a solid 13 points, 4.7 rebounds per game. Nice pass.
Well, Mara Dykstra has been in double figures 15 times this season. Huge part of this 17-2 record. She has been reliable on the offensive end. She gets good defensive stops. She really stepped into her own last year for this Bobcat team.
And those 2 free throws puts her at double figures in this one. Mara Dykstra with 11 points here in the fourth quarter. 7:49 remaining. It's a 7-point Montana State lead. Barch to Waddington. Setting the screen, goes right. Little too strong on that layup.
Just a great read, though, actually, to take it to the hole. Just a little bit too much muscle. But again, you just have to admire her craftiness around the basket. At just a freshman, she gives that added size, though, Tom, at 6'3".
Bright future for Waddington.
She reminds me of Greta Koss,
Greta
a very
One of the
famous
all-time
Lady
greats.
Grizz, yes. And that's a big compliment because Greta was one of the best to play the game here for the Lady Grizz.
Lady Grizz force a turnover. Then they turn it into offense. Inside to Waddington again. She has 9 points in the fourth quarter alone.
Taking over this game for the Lady Grizz. Fans are on their feet, and Coach Binford wants to take a timeout to talk about it. Montana is celebrating at half court. Really great play by the Lady Grizz.
Okay, we're going to take a quick timeout as well. here at Dahlberg Arena. Montana State leading Montana 58-53. We'll be back with more Brawl the Wild basketball. Well, Montana's been able to cut into Montana State's lead thanks to a true freshman who's matched her career high. Avery Waddington with 9 points in this fourth quarter. What have you seen from her?
Oh, I've just seen an impressive play. She's actually got 11, Tom, here in the fourth quarter. She's done just a fantastic job around the basket, just really good feel. She's been the difference maker for this Lady Grizz team in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
it was a double-digit lead for Montana State to start the fourth, and it's been cut to 5, 58-53. Zingaro back in, gets the feed inside from Danny Barch. McClymondt call into the lane, short. Zingaro with the rebound, tied up. It's going to be called a jump ball possession arrow to Montana State. How about some freshmen coming up in huge moments in their first ever Cat Grizz rivalry game?
It's just really neat to see, you know, the bright lights, Tom. Some players are made. They come alive when you have this fan type of atmosphere. You don't know what to expect from a freshman coming into the first rivalry game.
With Taylor Chirick and Addison Harris on the other side. There's Taylor Chirick, as we mentioned, just staying active, staying busy. Inside to Taylor Jansen. Up and in for the layup, and it pushes the lead back to 7.
Right there, a turnover for Montana, just timely, leads 2 points for Montana State. They will make you pay. Really good decision by Esmeralda Morales.
It's what they do. 15 turnovers now for Montana. McClymondt call, knocking down the 3 from the corner and gets the steal off the inbounds, but gives it right back to Morales. Wild sequence there as Martin shoots the 3 off the back iron, but another second chance opportunity for Montana State.
Coach Binford just wanting to take time off the clock. There is an urgency for Montana State to take that kind of shot. We know Caitlin Martin can make it, but you want to use up that time.
The lead down to 4 as Taylor Jansen fires away, no good. Long rebound back to Morales.
Montana has really dominated the rebounds throughout the game, but not in this fourth quarter stretch. Extra possessions for Montana State.
Jansen with the wide open 3 for Morales, and too long. Montana with an opportunity to cut into the lead again. It's down to 4, 60-56. Koenig to Barch, who's had a monster game inside to Zingaro. No one at home. Pulled the chair out from under her, and that's a turnover. Montana State basketball.
If you're going to have those turnovers, you just got to get stops here against Montana State.
Morales, such a calm, confident player running that offense. She's been there, done that in the Big Sky Conference. Chirick fires away, no good, but Mara Dykstra with another offensive rebound. Morales for 3, off again, and Zingaro pulls it in. They're having opportunities on Montana State off of those offensive boards, but haven't been able to capitalize the past 2 possessions.
You know, Montana State weathers a lot of those offensive lulls, Tom, though, by playing good defense. And you can see the Lady Grizz a couple timely turnovers. Montana State has things to figure out on the offensive end. They've won games by playing solid defense. But again, those are just critical extra possessions that they get.
Yeah, this is Montana State's been outscoring opponents by about 15 points. They came back from 11 on Monday. As Waddington
absolutely amazing from one end of the court to the other. She is feeling it. Montana Lady Grizz fans are on their feet.
Cuts the lead to 1, 60-59. Coach Binford just telling her team to kill some clock, and another, hands in there for Abby Schubert. They bring it back to the top of the key. Dykstra. They need a brief pause here. Morales goes to Taylor Chirick, runs into a double team down low, into the Morales, and what a heady shot for the graduate transfer from Portland State. Absolutely vital.
Avery Waddington taking it from coast to coast. No one thought on Montana State that she was going to pop, and she did. Huge baskets down the stretch by the freshman.
That's 14 points for her in the fourth quarter alone, 18 for the game. But Esmeralda Morales doing what she does is that veteran presence for Montana State, hitting a big shot just when they needed it.
Well, and we talk about poise. We've brought up that word, Tom, throughout our broadcast, and that's what Esmeralda Morales brings to this Montana State team. She gives them a basket when they need it. You want to cut that momentum and try to shift that in your control. They're going to add some pressure here and make it difficult for Montana to get the ball up the floor.
That is their bread and butter. Applying pressure to the opposing team and forcing turnovers. Montana's played a pretty clean ball game so far, but they're going to call a foul on Esmeralda Morales before the inbounds pass. Or was that against Picton? And it's going to move to the front court, and Montana is in the bonus, so Abby Schubert will head to the line for the Lady Grizz with a chance to cut into the lead yet again.
And that's a lot of time on the clock now with 3.5 minutes left to be shooting free throws every single time now in the double bonus.
62-59 as Abby Schubert heads to the line. Schubert 71% from the free throw line so far this season. Hits the first. The second would cut the lead back to 1. Two clutch free throws for Abby Schubert.
Big free throws. She's only been to the free throw line 7 times this year. Again, just huge free throws for Abby Schubert.
She checks back out of this ball game. Taylor Chirick bringing the ball up court now. The fastest, most athletic player on the court. Gives it up to Dylan Phillip. Mara Dykstra, the top of the key, high elbow. Working against the freshman Waddington. Off on her pull-up shot. And Montana a chance to maybe take the lead here with Waddington.
What's special about Waddington is she doesn't need to outlet the ball. So you don't have to worry about that turnover. She's able to handle the ball and take it up the floor.
Foul on the drive. It goes against Morales.
Free throws for the Lady Grizz.
That's Morales' second personal, and as we said, plenty of time left on the clock, and the Lady Grizz will head to the line for Matt Koenig.
This is a good place to be if you're Montana.
Knocks in the first, does Matt Koenig. And that gives Montana the lead. The crowd is on their feet. The bench is fired up. We're on the edge of our seats here on Media Row.
10-game winning streak on the line for Montana State. Brings a 17-2 record in here. And Montana is going toe-to-toe with this Bobcat team. It's been very impressive. Watching
several of these players grow up before our eyes. Dykstra kicks it out. Dylan Phillip pulls up, knocks in the shot. And that's what Montana State needed. They're back on top by 1. Clutch shot from Dylan Phillip. She has 13 for the ball game. Koenig driving into the lane. A turnover. Steal from Dylan Phillip. Montana State showing why they're the best defensive and best team in the Big Sky Conference through the first 7 games of league play. Dykstra, 4-3. Back iron, no good. Waddington hauls it down. She's got 18. That's a career high. Trailing by 1. Into the lane against Ella Johnson, the defensive dynamo for Montana State. MJ Bruno back to Matt Koenig, slows it down, pulls it out. Working against Dylan Phillip.
You're Montana. You want to get a good shot.
And they get a wide open look from Avery Waddington, who has 21 points in this ball game, 17 in the fourth quarter.
She is locked in.
Morales back the other way through the defense and hits the clutch layup. And we're tied up again, 66 all, with 1:13 to play here in Missoula. foul on the nope. It looks like Matt Koenig stepped out of bounds, so it's Montana State basketball. Another unforced error for Montana just when they couldn't afford it.
Turnovers contributing down the stretch, but Montana, you couldn't ask for a better environment, Tom, right now in a rivalry game.
This is truly a special moment for all the players involved and everyone in the building, everyone watching at home. 66-66 with under a minute left. Esmeralda Romales driving baseline, tries to feed it in to Mara Dykstra, but it's a turnover. Montana ball. They push it ahead to Tyler McClymonde Call. She'll bring it back out to MJ Bruno. Slowing things down, going to run a set offense here. Matt Koenig, the veteran presence. She's had plenty of big Montana State rivalry ball games in her career. Under 10 seconds. Got to get a shot up. And it's Waddington again. This time she's short. Might be her first miss of the game, but that's going to lead to a timeout for Montana State. And we're all knotted up at 66 apiece. Shot clock is off. 19 seconds remaining. Montana State with a chance.
You had to have Avery Waddington take the shot, though. She's been a hot hand for Montana. You could tell when it left her hands, just a little short. Montana State takes that quick timeout, and you can best believe it that she's going to set something up to take it at Montana. Take a look at the foul situation, Tom. Montana State, 5 fouls to the Lady Grizz's 2. That doesn't help them in terms of if they have to foul really quick if Montana State were to get a basket.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the Lady Grizz, you want to play good stand-up defense.
Regardless of what happens here in the final 19 seconds, what a coming out party for Avery Waddington.
Just tremendous play by the freshman. She has completely taken over this game, surpassed her career high of 15 at 21 points.
3 of 7 from distance, 4 rebounds, 2 assists as well. But of course, Montana State counters with the veteran shot-making ability of Esmeralda Morales, who's been in this position so many times in her career. Didn't win a whole lot at Portland State, but now she's putting that offensive prowess on display for Montana State, who is first in the Big Sky Conference.
Montana State has to take it the length of the floor.
Under 15 seconds to play in this one. Montana with a bit of a trap as well, trying to not make it easy for Montana State. Morales into the lane, checked by Waddington. Goes up with the left hand, off on the shot, but she will head to the line, and that's just a veteran move against the freshman on defense.
Montana State clearing the lane so Esmeralda could have her way.
Goes to work, and she's hit that shot several times.
That's just a tough call, though, because Avery Waddington, just a nice job on defense underneath the basket.
Esmeralda Morales with 16 points in this ball game. She is a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. 4.6 seconds remaining in the ball game. She's got a chance to give Montana State a lead. Off on the first. Her first miss from the charity stripe today.
Esmeralda Morales doesn't miss free throws very often. She shoots almost 84% from the free throw line. Again, in her first rivalry game in a very loud Dahlberg Arena.
Knocks down the second, so Montana State with a 67-66 advantage with just 4.6 seconds remaining here at Dahlberg Arena. What a game we've seen so far, and what a finish this is shaping up to be.
I don't think you could ask for a better rivalry game. I mean, just really good basketball. Both teams have had their moments. The Lady Grizz had some turnovers that led to points for Montana State, but you got to hand it to them. Just hanging in there, making good decisions, finding the ball and getting it to Avery Waddington, who has just been the hot hand for this Lady Grizz team.
Yeah, lead all scorers with 21 points. We're going to take a look at Esmeralda Morales driving against Avery Waddington. A lot of contact in there, but that's one of those calls that could go.
She's just crafty under the basket, though. She knows how to draw the foul.
So that sets the stage for Montana, trailing by 1 to go for the win.
Montana advances the ball on the timeout.
Danny Barch inside to Waddington, all alone, gets the shot up, but good defense from Ella Johnson, the defensive dynamo, and that will do it. Nice look for Montana to close out the game, but Montana State pushes their win streak to 11. They make it 8 straight wins in the Big Sky Conference, and the Bobcats are going to walk out of Missoula with a hard-fought 67-66 win.
That's a heartbreaker for the Lady Grizz, but you do have to hand it to Montana State for making plays when it counted. That was a huge free throw by Esmeralda Morales. You've got to be happy with the fight in your team if you're Nate Harris.